Good morning reception. It's time for another mathematics lesson. This week we're learning about half and halving. You don't need anything for this lesson, you just need to be able to watch and listen. There will be some questions I'll ask you throughout the video for you to have a think about, and then afterwards there'll be some activities for you to complete. Let's get on with our lesson. Halving means to share equally into two groups. Now that means that if we've got an object, say my piece of Play-Doh, that if I was to halve this piece of Play-Doh, I would need to cut it exactly down the middle so that this side and this side were the same size. Let's have a go at that. Here is my piece of Play-Doh. I now need to carefully cut exactly down the middle to make two halves. Now I have a new shape. Let's have a look at this when we cut it exactly down the middle. We then have two halves. We can cut other things in half too, like this piece of bread. Cut it down the middle to make two halves. Or these grapes. We can even halve things like a piece of paper. Now we do this quite a lot when we're making birthday cards or Christmas cards or just cards for our friends and family. To do it, you need to make sure that both ends meet closely together so that exactly the same amount of paper is on this side as it is on this side. And then you can push it down in the middle just like this. I've made sure, just about. That's my Nancy. She's seen our next thing we're going to be halving. She's very excited. Make sure that we have exactly the same size piece of paper this side as we do on this side. So we've halved our piece of paper. As well as halving our piece of paper, as Nancy has just seen, get my tub. This is just to stop water spilling. You want to do it too, do you?
Yeah.
We have got. What I'll do is I'll have a go, and then you can have a go afterwards.
No, I'll go.
What we've got is I've got an empty glass, and I've got a glass with some water in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to halve my drink. Now you probably shouldn't use glasses like this, but if you've got some plastic containers at home that you could pour liquid between, you could do it whilst you're in the bath, you could do it whilst you're playing outside in the paddling pool. And what you're trying to do is to share the drink exactly between the two. So I'm halving the drink. So I'm just going to pour half and I'm going to match it. Oh no, there's a bit less in this side at the moment. Let me have another go. Match it up again. I think I need a little bit more, and then I'm going to stand it flat on the table so that I can inspect it, and I'll move my container out of the way. I think I have to get down quite low to match it. Oh no, I've gone a little bit much with this side. No. Let's have another little look. Oh, I'll show you. I have shared the liquid equally between the two glasses. I've put half of it in one glass and half of it in the other glass. So one of Nancy's favourite things, and one of the things she's waiting for next to me, is a cake. Now a cake is a really good way to halve, to share it with your friends or with your family when you're sharing it into two. So I'm going to get my knife and I'm going to cut my cake. Do you think I need to cut it here? Would this be fair? Should we have a little look?
Yeah.
Have I cut it? Ooh. Have I cut my cake in half?
Yeah.
If I was to give this half to Nancy and I was to eat this half, would that be fair? No, it would not at all, and I think Nancy would have something to say about it. So I'm going to let Nancy eat that whole cake. There you go, Nancy, you can eat that there. As well as cake, chocolate can be a really good way to work out halving. Now, a lot of chocolate bars, as you can see, are split into little pieces This bit that I've broken off of a bigger bar has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 little pieces to it. Now if I was to share this between myself and Nancy, I would have to halve it. How could I halve this? How could I work it out? Well, these chocolate bars are actually laid out really nicely for you to see that if I was to halve it, Nancy would get this side and I would get that side. This side has 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces, and this side has 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. Now I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to break it right down the middle to show you. Oh, I did, but I broke it a different way. I snapped it that way. I wonder if that's going to be fair. Shall we have a little look? There is 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces here, and 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces there. So if we had 8 pieces of chocolate and we halved it, we would both get 4 pieces each. Look at that, 4 pieces of chocolate each. Now let's carry on trying to halve some numbers. Here I've made my own part whole model using some containers and some paper. I've put 2 balls in my top part, which is the whole. I have 2. What's half of 2? If I was to find this out, I would need to share the 2 balls in the whole between my 2 parts. They need to make sure that we have the same number in both of the parts to make sure that we have shared them fairly. Half of 2 is 1. Let's see if we can find some other halves of numbers. What is half of 4? Half of 4 is 2. Did you get it right? Now can you find half of 6? Half of 6 is 3. Now I have 8 balls in the top container in my whole. What is half of 8? One for you, one for you, one for you, and one for you, one for you, one for you, one for you. Oh, half of 8 is 4. Now I have 10. I need to halve my 10 between my 2 parts. How many will I have? Half of 10 is 5. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope that it's helped you to understand how to halve different things. Go and have a little look at the suggested activities that we send home and see if you can make some Play-Doh and see if you can halve it. Or can you find some objects, some cars, and can you share those between you and maybe your brother or sister? Let me know how you get on. Bye!